नमस्कार. सध्या संपूर्ण भारतामध्ये करोनाचं संक्रमण सुरू आहे. सगळेजण आपापल्या घरी आहेत आणि सुरक्षित आहेत. जवळपास 2 महिने झाले. मार्चमध्ये आपलं सुरू झालेलं आहे तर मार्च एप्रिल 2 महिने होऊन गेले. तर ही जी परिस्थिती आहे या परिस्थितीमध्ये आपल्याला मात करायची आहे. तर आपण घरीच राहायचं आहे, स्वस्थ राहायचं आहे आणि आपला अभ्यास घरूनच करायचा आहे. तर त्यासाठी आम्ही ऑनलाईन लेक्चर आयोजित केलेले आहे. तर माझं नाव आहे रवींद्र बोंद्रे. आदर्श विद्यालय चिखली, जिल्हा बुलढाणा इथे मी विज्ञान 2 हा विषय शिकवतो, वर्ग 10वीला. तर आदर्श विद्यालय चिखली आणि इजी टेस्ट ॲप यांच्या संयुक्त विद्यमाने आम्ही हे लेक्चर आयोजित करत आहोत. तर चला मित्रांनो, सुरू करूया. आपण विज्ञान 2 वर्ग 10 चॅप्टर नंबर 6 ॲनिमल क्लासिफिकेशन. नाउ द सब unit is history of classification. Before that we shall see there is a chart is given in your book. If you observe, a chart is given in the book and a question is asked. Can you recall? The question is which criteria are used for classification of organisms? Before that, now this question is asked. Before that, we complete this table or this chart. Here, living organisms is given and there are 2 blank boxes are given. So, living organisms are divided into 2: prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Now, what are prokaryotes? What are eukaryotes? Prokaryotes are those organisms in which nuclear membrane is absent or nucleus is absent. So what happens? As nucleus or nuclear membrane is absent, then the genetic material DNA is exposed. So that is called prokaryotes. Second is eukaryotes. These are advanced organisms where nucleus is surrounded by a nuclear membrane. So suppose this is the cell and this is nucleus. Now this is nuclear membrane. So cytoplasm and nuclear plasm. Cytoplasm in the cell, nuclear plasm in the nucleus are now well separated from each other. And such type of cells are called eukaryotes. And in prokaryotes, such type of nuclear membrane is absent. So the genetic material is exposed. Nucleoplasm and cytoplasm both are mixed. So these are primitive level organisms. These are high level organisms. Then these prokaryotes are divided into only one kingdom called Monera. Then eukaryotes are again divided into 2: unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Then what are unicellular organisms? All of you know in the 10th standard. As the name suggests, the organisms which are made up of only one type of cell are called unicellular organisms. And multicellular organisms, the organisms which are made up of many cells, they are called as multicellular organisms. Again, these multicellular organisms are again divided into 2 blank boxes are given. Now these 2 blank boxes is without cell wall and with cell wall. Organisms without cell wall and organisms with cell wall. So here with cell wall and here without cell wall. Now cell wall play an important role in the body of some organisms. So with cell wall, and there are some organisms in which cell does not contain cell wall. So these are again two criteria for multicellular organisms, and then again the multicellular organisms with cell wall are divided into two. Again, one is called autotroph and one is called heterotrophs. Again, there is question: what are autotrophs and what are heterotrophs? It is a mode of nutrition. Auto means self. Autotrophs are those organisms in which they can prepare their food on their own accord. So they can prepare their food on their own accord. And heterotrophs are those organisms which depends on others for their food. So these are autotrophs, heterotrophs. Again, autotrophs, kingdom plant. All plants, all means green plants. They are called as autotrophs because they can prepare their own food. Then they are called autotrophs. The heterotrophs, example fungi. We know fungi are plants, but these plants are colorless plants. They do not contain chlorophyll, a pigment which is used for photosynthesis. So fungi are heterotrophs. Then in multicellular organisms, we have seen with cell wall, autotrophs, heterotrophs means plants, both plants with chlorophyll, without chlorophyll, both contain cell wall. Then other organisms without cell wall, they are classified as kingdom Animalia, and example is given in the book, snake. Here one unicellular organisms, one thing remains, kingdom Protista. So that is all about the classification of living organisms. So I just said earlier, the question was asked to me, which criteria is used for classification of organisms? And the criteria are given in this chart. The first criteria, presence or absence of nucleus. We have seen absence of nucleus, prokaryotes, presence of nucleus, eukaryotes. Second criteria, number of cells. One cell, unicellular, many cells, multicellular. Third criteria, presence or absence of cell wall. And the fourth criteria, the mode of nutrition. म्हणजे अन्न तयार करण्याचा प्रकार. There are two types, autotrophs, heterotrophs. Auto means which can prepare their own food. Heterotrophs means which depends on others for their food. So that is all about the classification of living organisms. So the next part we shall see now. After that, after finishing the classification of living organisms and how organisms are classified, we shall see next part. A question is asked again, can you recall on the same page how plants are classified? Question is asked, how plants are classified? Now plants are classified. The first criteria for classification of plants is presence or absence of flower. Means there are some plants without flower and there are some plants with flower, called as non-flowering and flowering. So naturally two groups are there, non-flowering or in one group, flowering in other group, or presence or absence of seed. With seed, without seed or seedless. Second criteria or next criteria, in the seed is open or closed. Means in some plants seeds are closed by fruits. For example, mango. In fruit there is only one seed, but seed is covered by a coating of fruit. But in some seed is present, but it is not covered by the coating of fruit, and then they are classified into monocotyledons. They are classified into and gymnosperm and angiosperm. Next criteria. Now, in seed, if seeds are present, they are containing how many cotyledons? If seed contains one cotyledon, it is called monocot, as we have already seen in the 9th class. And if seed contains two cotyledons, it is called dicotyledons. In this way, the plants are classified. So, first, presence or absence of flower and seed. Then, if seeds are present, then open or closed. Then, the seed contain how many cotyledons? If one, it is monocotyledons. If two, it is called dicotyledons. In this way, plants are classified. Now we shall see how animals are classified. In the same way, there are large number of animals. If you observe around us, plants and animals, these animals are small so that we cannot see with the naked eyes. For example, amoeba. For example, paramecium. And there are some animals which can be seen by naked eyes. So, unicellular, multicellular. Then there are some animals which are aquatic. There are some animals which are terrestrial. So bifurcation is there. So in this way, then there are some animals which have scales on their body. There are some animals which have hairs on their body, and some are without hair, some are without scale. Then there are some animals which have nails. There are some animals which have hooves. Some have claws on their digits. Nails on the claws, hooves on the claws, and hooves on the digits and claws on the digits. So, on this way also animals are classified. So, there are large such examples on that we can classify the animals in different things. And in this chapter, we have to see how the animals are classified. Then, it is estimated that there are 7 millions of species of animals in the world. On the 7 million species of animals, and one of the species is human being, Homo sapiens, and the number of human beings is near about 750 crore in the world. Only one species. So 7 million species of animals in the world, and these animals, they are unicellular or multicellular, as we have seen. Some are aquatic, some are arboreal, some are present on tree, and some are aerial. So in this way they are classified. Some have scales, some have hair on their body, some are cold-blooded, some are warm-blooded. In this way they are classified. Then again question arises, why there is need of classification? For example, if we go to a library and ask the librarian or demand a book to the librarian, What does the librarian says? That go to the cupboard number 4 and compartment number 2 and collect the book number so and so. Why? Because the books are classified. समजा ही पुस्तकं क्लासिफाय केलेलीच नाही, लायब्ररीने सांगितलं जे जा कोपऱ्यात पुस्तक पडलेले आहेत तुम्ही पहा, काय होईल? पाहायला वेळ लागेल, पुस्तक हाताळू आपण, काही पादळे जोडू आपण, and these books are damaged and hence these books are classified. So in this way plants and animals are also classified to study in proper way. So what happens? These animals are classified into groups and subgroups. So what happens? When we classify animals in groups and subgroups, then their classification is easy. So by all this, what is animal classification? The question arises, what is classification of animals? So when we study the classification of animals, the definition is formation of groups or subgroups of animals depending on presence or absence of depending on similarities or differences among animals is called as animal classification. Again, listen, the definition of classification of animals: formation of groups or subgroups of animals depending on similarities or differences among the animals is called the classification of animals or animal classification. Then now we shall see now this was just complete background. Now we shall see history of animal classification. So the first attempt to classify animals, as we have seen, 7 million species of animals are there and all are present in different atmosphere, means some are present in water, some are arboreal, some are aquatic, some are terrestrial. So in this way they are present in different atmosphere. So to classify them, the first attempt was made by Aristotle. Aristotle was the first scientist who made the first attempt to classify the animals, and he classified the animals into 3: habit, habitat and what is called body size. So the first attempt was made by Aristotle, the first, and at that time he classified the animals into habit, habitat and body size. Then his classification was failed because this classification was called as artificial classification. Then the next attempt was made by Theophrastus. Then John Ray and Linnaeus. So these also 3 classified the animals, and their classification was also called as the artificial classification. त्याला म्हणतो आपण artificial classification. So this Linnaeus, he was the scientist who started to use binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature. For example, our human, scientific name of human, Homo sapiens. So Homo and sapiens, that is called binomial. He was the first scientist who started to write his name as Carl Linnaeus. Carl Linnaeus. In the same way as binomial nomenclature. So all they classified the animals, but the classification was the what is called artificial classification. So the next attempt, then there was advancement in the study of animals, and then natural method of classification or natural mode of classification came into existence. Natural classification. And the criteria for natural classification was body organization, then number of cells, means unicellular, multicellular, bicellular, etc. Then chromosomes and type of biochemical reaction. On these four criteria, the natural classification or natural method of classification was based, and different scientists involved in this type of classification, and the names of scientists are Dobzhansky and Mayer. They participated in the natural classification or natural system of classification. Then the classification based on evolution was also added in them. Then Carl Oss. These are the names of scientists who classify the animals on the basis of the natural system of classification, and also based on evolution. The classification based on evolution was added by them, Dobzhansky, Mayer and Carl Oss. So that is all about the history of animal classification, right, starting from Aristotle up to Carl Oss. Then what are the benefits of animal classification? There are 4 to 5 benefits of animal classification. म्हणजे आपण प्राण्यांचं वर्गीकरण का करतो, त्याचे फायदे काय होतात हे बघायचं आपल्याला. सो द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशन. द फर्स्ट बेनिफिट, it is convenient to study the animals. When we classify the animals, then it is convenient to us to study all the animals. This was the first benefit. Second, if we study 3 or 4 animals of one group, then we get a clear idea of complete group. What are their characteristics and what is their habitat, what is their habit, what is their organization. All these points we can remember by observing 3 or studying 3 or 4 animals of the group. We can get an idea of complete group. Then third, we can also get idea of evolution of animals. How animals in our animal evolution took place. We can get idea by classification of animals. Fourth one, we can get idea of adaptation in animals. Adaptation. Anukulam. How they adapt? Some adapt for aquatic mode, some adapt for arboreal, some adapt for aerial, some adapt for terrestrial. How they adapt? That is called adaptation. This idea also is cleared by classification of animals. Then animals can be identified with great accuracy. अचूकता हे is वैशिष्ट्य हे classification of animals. So these are some benefits of animals. Then we also get an idea of habitats of animals and their relation with nature. So these are all benefits of animal classification. So the next point we shall study traditional method of animal classification. Traditional method of animal classification. Traditional means paramparika. Traditional method of animal classification. Traditionally, animals are classified into two: non-chordates and chordates, depending on presence or absence of notochord. म्हणजे notochord आहे किंवा नाही याच्या आधारावर दोन भाग आहेत: non-chordates and chordates. What are non-chordates? Non-chordates are primitive animals, lower category animals in which notochord is absent. आता notochord याच्यामध्ये नसतो. So the first characteristics of non-chordates: absence, notochord is absent in their body. Second, pharyngeal gill slits are absent for respiration. Pharyngeal gill slits are absent for respiration in which animals? Non-chordates. Then third, third point, nerve cord. Nerve cord if present, if जर असेल तर it is present on ventral side. Ventral side, it is solid and paired. So nerve cord is present in these animals. Which animal? The non-chordates. Then it is present on ventral side and it is solid and paired. And the last point, heart. If present, असेल तर it is present on dorsal side. So these are four characteristics of non-chordates or non-chordata. Again listen: absence of notochord in the body, absence of pharyngeal gill slits for respiration, nerve cord is present, it is present on ventral side, and heart is present, it is present on dorsal side. And these non-chordata or non-chordates are divided into 9 phylums. त्याचा अभ्यास करायचा आपल्याला पुढे 9 phylums, 9 phylum आहेत. फॉर एक्झाम्पल फायलम कोरिफेरा, फायलम नायडेरिया, फायलम प्लॅटिहेल्मिन्थिस, then Annelida, then Mollusca. So these are examples of the phylums which we have to study. So total 9 phylums we have to study. And the last phylum, Hemichordata, which is intermediate between non-chordates and chordates. So in this way we have to study step by step. That is all about characteristics of non-chordates. Then characteristics of chordates. They are opposite to non-chordates. So here we have seen notochord is absent in non-chordate. Here notochord is present. In chordates, notochord is present. Then pharyngeal gill slits were absent in non-chordates. In chordates, pharyngeal gill slits or lungs. Pharyngeal gill slits are present in aquatic animals, lungs are present in terrestrial animals. So, pharyngeal gill slits or lungs are present in the chordates. Third, her nerve cord is if present. It is present on ventral side, solid and paired. Now, nerve cord is compulsorily present in chordates and it is hollow. It is present on dorsal side. Then, heart is present and this heart is present on ventral side. So, these are all characteristics of chordates, and these chordates are divided into 3 subphylums. The animals of belonging to chordates. And what is notochord? Notochord is a long rod-like supporting structure present in chordates which keep the body separate from nerves. ते काय करतात? नर्व्स पासून नोटोकॉर्ड नर्व्स पासून बॉडी वेगळी ठेवतात. सो हे झालं सगळं ऑल अबाउट. नाउ फायलम कॉर्डेटा. फायलम कॉर्डेटा सगळं बघायचं आपल्याला. As we have seen, non-chordates are divided into 9 phylums, right from Porifera up to Hemichordata. Here, phylum Chordata are divided into 3 subphylums. The subphylum first, Cephalochordata, then Urochordata, and third is Vertebrata. Then subphylum Vertebrata is again divided into 6 classes. Class Cyclostomata, class Pisces, class Amphibians, class Reptiles, class Aves, and the topmost and last class Mammals, where human beings are included. So we have to study all these animals step by step, starting from non-chordates and then chordates, step by step. So that is all about traditional method of animal classification. Now today we study the type of classification given by Whitaker. John Whitaker is the name of scientist, and the name of classification is Five Kingdom System. Name is Robert Whitaker. The classification given by Robert Whitaker we follow, and the criteria for this classification it is based on 5 criteria. The classification given by Robert Whitaker is based on 5 criteria. First is body organization. Second is symmetry of the body. Third, germ layers. 4 is segmentation. And the 5th one is body organization, symmetry, germ layers, and body cavity. 5th one is body cavity. So these are 5 criteria, and on the basis of these 5 criteria, animals are classified. How? We shall see in the next class. Now, before that, some questions are there. 2 questions we have seen. That how plants are classified. Then what is the traditional method of classification? Questions were asked. Two questions were already asked in the book. Which criteria are used for classification of organisms? We have seen. How the plants are classified? We have seen. Then the next question or next, what do you mean by the on what basis Aristotle classified animals? So his method was called as artificial method of classification. Then which are the criteria for natural method of classification? We have seen 4 criteria. Again you study. So these are questions for homework. And which are the criteria given by Robert Whittaker for the classification of animals? All these are classification. So these are some questions for your homework. Thanks.